Hello, my name is Rhys McClenaghan and this is Luke Carson. We're currently at the 2021 World Championships and welcome to our podcast.
Carson's Corner.
Welcome to the podcast, friends.
Carson's Corner.
Not Carson's Corner. Why do you have to take credit for this?
It's got a good ring.
How have you found the World Championships so far?
Unique New York. It's been interesting, to say the least. It's quite restrictive, obviously, because of COVID.
Yeah.
The LOC, I'm sure, have had a lot of issues just to get it going, so fair play to them to get it going, but...
The LOC or the organising committee, right?
Local organising committee, yeah. So I'm sure they've had a lot of issues trying to get this done. As well as the FIG, but it's just restrictive for us.
Yeah.
As I'm sure all your viewers now know, not allowed to leave our hotel room, not allowed to be outside other than waiting for our transport to and from training and food.
Yeah.
Food's like 30-minute journey for us to get to, so we've been doing Uber Eats.
It's crazy that it's actually like a World Championships because this is my fourth World Championships now. What World Championships is this for you?
Gosh, I went to my first one in 2006, Aarhus in Denmark. I think it was 2006.
And then competed up until 2014 as a gymnast, obviously, at pretty much every World Championships bar a couple.
Yeah, I was riddled with injuries.
Yeah. Well.
So I missed a few along the way, but yeah, it's been unique in terms of the amount that I've done. I did 2011 Worlds in Tokyo, and it was phenomenal. It was just so well done.
Yeah.
So it's not quite a fair representation of how they would do it. Obviously, it's COVID. You know, it's put a damper on everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a shame because it would be class to get out there and to see, you know, the city.
I know, and I mean, even when we went to Tokyo for a training camp in early 2020 before COVID kicked off, it was just incredible, the experience. That was my favourite trip to this day, still.
That was mad. I remember every morning the news would come on, which is very animated, like everything in this country, and it was just... every morning it was more about this virus,
yeah,
and you and I would kind of just be eating our boiled eggs, which we had every morning, and we'd joke like, oh, this is the start of the apocalypse.
Yeah, I know.
This is how every zombie movie has ever started, not knowing that it literally was about to be a worldwide pandemic.
Exactly.
We were sitting there in Tokyo just minding our own business, walking, doing our normal thing, and it was just getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger.
I know. And I remember the number, like on TV when I was eating breakfast, it was 6 people had died in China from this deadly disease. We were like, this is the start of the apocalypse. But yeah, it's crazy how something like that can escalate. But yeah, this World Championships, very different experience altogether. As you said, unique, to say it in a polite way, isn't it?
It's challenging.
It was a long journey. It took like 2 days in total to get here. We had to stay overnight in a airport hotel, which was, you know, the thought of it's nice, but it makes that trip longer. Yeah. Rather than just getting it all out of the way, like one day of just like lazy traveling, it's sectioning it up into 2 full days of traveling rather than just one day. But yeah, that was a tough couple of days because even when you arrived in Tokyo, at the airport in Tokyo, you weren't allowed to, you know, go out and get food, and you couldn't order room service. I said it in an earlier YouTube video. You couldn't order room service. You couldn't get someone to go get food. Eventually, we did convince someone to go get food, didn't we?
Yeah, thankfully, Sally, our head of delegation and high performance and technical director, she saved us with a big lovely meal because we arrived and we had this cold, awful, dodgy chicken sandwich for our dinner, and it was just the work. Like, after all the travel, it's just not what you wanted.
I know, exactly. Yeah, especially as an athlete, because I was training the next day. Oh no, it wasn't actually training that next day, but you're always keeping on top of your diet, and then when you get delivered a sandwich like that, not the best thing. But anyway, we'll go straight into the questions. Sure, but I didn't think we'd get a lot of questions, but we ended up getting some questions because I think when I posted this on Twitter to ask for questions, like nobody was awake because of the time zone, obviously. Yeah.
Who was first with the questions?
So, I'll look at this now. I don't know who's first, but I'll just go from like top to bottom.
Okay.
Wait, well, we'll go with Gymnastic first, which is another gymnastics podcast. Since we can call ourselves podcasters now, we're the second best gymnastics podcast.
Oh gosh.
Gymnastic being first. No, I doubt it highly. They asked about the Taishan pommel horse versus your favourite brand, and did that change your preparation at all? And that's an interesting one because in 2018 the Taishan pommel horse was awful, wasn't it?
It was. I suppose you could characterise it as subpar.
Mm-hmm. So in 2018 the Taishan, which is a gymnastics equipment supplier, they done all of the equipment at the 2018 World Championships, and when we were in podium training, the pommel horse actually broke when Luke was tightening the handles, and that was pretty crazy and kind of showed the equipment standard at that point. And you know, it was a completely different pommel horse altogether, and this time round, not gonna lie, I was a bit frightened of the pommel horse, but it turned out to be pretty good. They seem to have changed their plans, I don't know what they've done, but
it's totally different.
Yeah, it's a completely different pommel horse, completely different floor. It seems like the equipment has just all been revamped. So, I mean, that's very positive. It's a really nice pommel horse actually. The leather's nice and soft. It's nice and grippy. You know, everything you want in a pommel horse, really.
Yeah, you've been training on Sino. We'd looked at a few pictures of the new horse, the new Taishan horse, and we'd estimated that it was probably closer to the Sino than the Spieth.
Yeah.
So, but actually now that you've circled on it, it's probably it's kind of like Sino and Gymnova.
Yeah, more like the leather's more similar to
Had a little
Gymnova.
pommel baby, and it was the new Taishan.
Yeah. No, fair play Taishan. They pulled it out of the bag for this World Championships. Yeah, it's not too bad at all actually. I'm quite happy.
Nice.
Quite happy with it. Then there's somebody asked, is Luke any crack?
Depends what mood I'm in,
Yeah.
or if I'm hungry.
Yeah, we've been hungry a
So
lot
this
trip.
trip, no, I've been no crack at all.
Yeah, we've just been fed there, so I think
Yeah.
we're okay for this talk, although probably a little bit tired coming into the evening time. But yeah, so someone else has asked, what is your favourite piece of apparatus after the pommel, and would you like to compete that apparatus in the next competition in the future? So my next favourite apparatus is floor. So yeah, I'll be wanting to compete that in the next Olympic cycle. What do you think about that?
You know as well as I do that I've said from day one that your floor can be as good as your pommels.
Yeah.
You've got a very good understanding of floor, and I think you can be class at it. It's going to take a bit of time just to build up the body and preparation for it, and but the skills are all there. It's about putting them together now and being able to do consistent, safe routine.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's the thing with floor as well. It's just about getting that consistent routine where you can stick every landing, as long as that execution's there. You know, talking to judges even, they're just like, you just need to stick your landings on floor and you're getting a good score.
Yeah.
But obviously easier said than done.
Stick them in style, because you can stick it but have a low chest and a wobble, and then you've lost the value of the skill.
Yeah, there's so much deductions on floor. It's crazy.
We've got to learn them.
Yeah. So yeah, there's no point in like chucking big skills on floor, because if you're going to take that 0.3 step every time, which isn't a big step at all, then you've lost the difficulty of that skill altogether.
Well, Joel Mulder was a good example of
Yeah.
that. You know, he's what year was that?
2017, he won the bronze medal.
It wasn't a humongous start value, but it was damn clean.
Yeah.
It was excellently clean, and that got him a world medal, I believe. So
pretty crazy. Like, and yeah, it was such a by international standards, a basic routine, but he done it incredibly well.
Yeah, very well. Were you Finnish guy?
Yeah, I can't remember his name, from Finland, but
holy moly, that guy does the most beautiful routine. Like it's like he's got glue in his feet. He understands how to stick on floor, and I hope he gets rewarded for that, because as a viewer and as a onlooker, it looks amazing.
For sure. So next question here: are you working to have a skill named after you? Yeah, I mean it's in a process, isn't it? There's like a few ideas that we have.
It's possible.
Obviously not gonna disclose it in this podcast or any other video before I actually do it, because people like to steal ideas.
The problem is it's hard to pick a comp to do it, because each competition usually is quite important. You know, we're now after this competition, then it's all eyes on the Paris cycle, learning the new code. True. Upgrading the routine. You know, there's a lot of upgrades there ready to put in. So it's about, you know, understanding that and kind of applying that correctly.
Yeah, and also just like I don't want to be a guy that kind of, I don't know, goes to a competition and
just wings it.
And wings this one new skill that I want to get in. I want it to be like the McLennigan is that big skill that everybody wants to do, and nobody does it better than McLennigan himself, type thing. You know, it's like Dragulescu. At the time that Dragulescu came up with his vault, the handspring double front half out, you know, nobody done it better than him. He stuck it every time. He's still doing it to this day.
When was the first time he did that? I can remember the first time I saw it, and it was in Volos Europeans. And I'd be interested to know.
I think he done it in 2000.
Did he? Yeah.
I think he done it at the Olympics in 2000. With the long horse.
Jeepers, that's mad.
Yeah, it is mad.
He stuck it at that comp in Volos.
Yeah.
And I just remember thinking, that's outstanding. And now it's kind of considered common practice as a vaulter.
It is.
It's interesting to see how it's developed. All the apparatus, but vault in some aspects is just insane now what some of the people are doing.
Well, I mean, since seeing how Dragulescu is still going in the year 2021.
He's a legend.
Yeah, it was an honour to actually go round with him at the Olympics in that qualification round.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Crazy. Yeah, all those vaults didn't go his way, but man, to even get there at that age and go, like, he was on the old vaulting horse. That's just nuts to me. I wasn't even born when that was taken out.
Yikes.
How crazy. Daniel has asked, when are we getting Road to Iron Cross episode 4? One. I'm just going to ignore that comment because
burn.
It is a bit of a burn. Not cool. I'm blocking that guy. Oh, sorry, I missed one here. At Your Mental Health, they've asked, give us an insight into the steps you take to look after your mental health during these challenging competitions. A long way from home, not so serious, or maybe it is. How's the coffee? Well, you can start. Well, we'll start with the coffee. Yeah, the coffee isn't great, sure it's not.
No, we're not allowed coffee. The only thing we're allowed is this vending machine that just gives the worst coffee I've ever tasted.
Yeah.
So a nice Costa would be well appreciated to start the day off. However, it is what it is. Yeah, I mean, it's challenging. Where you and I are away from home a lot. I would say more than most gymnastics coaches. We live away from home during the week, away from our families, and then we travel quite a lot. So usually big internationals are usually around 10 to 14 days, and then if it's a competition like this, then the time zone is quite different, so it's hard to catch each other as well. So it's challenging. So you just gotta stay as positive as you can. Try and make sure you focus on the positives. Ultimately, we're here to do a job. So it's important just to keep focused on that, and it's kind of like a nice driver to make sure that's where the focus is. But you can't help but miss everyone at home, and you get a bit homesick here now. And
it is, like, it's challenging, but at the same time, like, the thing that motivates me most when I'm away from home is just like, this is what I want to do. Like, I love traveling. I'd say that's at like the top of my bucket list, is just to travel as much as possible. Of course, the more, well, like everything at the top of my actual bucket list is traveling related.
Yeah.
You know, I want to go to this place, I want to go to that place, and by staying on this journey, it allows me to travel to those places, like go to crazy places like Japan multiple times in a year. Well, we've been to Japan 3 times in the past 2 years. That's crazy.
Yeah.
No, people have never been to Japan in their whole life from where we're from.
It is a blessing. That's part of our job, is to travel the world, because you know, I personally know people that haven't left their own country at birth, and you know, it is an amazing thing to be able to do. Hard under these circumstances, you know. It would be fantastic if we could do our normal thing, you know. You and I would go for walks, or would go try and find somewhere nice like a forest, or remember that place we found in Montreal? That was class.
Yeah. I mean, I was reminiscing actually a lot in that cubicle of a room we have. I was reminiscing on the past World Championships, thinking about the Montreal hike that we went on, the scooter journey that we took in Stuttgart,
in
the electric scooters that you can hire out, you know, like things like that. That's what you would do between sessions. Obviously we won't be going on like hikes between sessions. I think that hike actually we done after the competition in Montreal.
Can't remember. I remember we just got
Sure
an awesome Tim Hortons coffee, and just took this class hike up about 100 stairs into this big forest temple thing that just had a view over Montreal. It was phenomenal. It was so good.
But those are the type of things that you get to experience, and that's what kind of keeps you in this game. You know, I think if every trip was like this one, it would be a lot harder.
Yeah.
But we just know that this is just temporary. You know, it's something that needs to be done at the minute in everybody's life, really. Are
you still meditating when you're here?
Not as much as I'd like to. I done it once. I can't even remember. Got all the days muddled up. I think the morning after we arrived, I done a meditation just in my room. But I'd love to do it outside in fresh air and everything. But again, I think I should still keep it up. It's a great way to kind of stay in the zone and happy in a way. Yeah, I mean, here's a similar question actually that says, has your mindset and approach changed from the Olympics to now? That's it. I mean, since we're staying on the mindsets and mentality side of things, what do you think about that?
In terms of competition, no. Every competition is given the same respect as the other.
Mm-hmm.
No competition should be treated differently because you're there to put your hand up and do your routine. So whether it's a domestic control competition in front of our own judges and myself, or it's at an Olympic Games or World Championships, it's the same routine, so the approach shouldn't be different. So yeah, does that answer that?
Yeah, it was interesting that you said about each competition should be given equal respect, almost, because I've been finding it hard to pinpoint exactly why Olympics didn't feel as big as everybody makes it out to be in the aspect of gymnastics. And I think it's because of that mindset of I treat every competition like the next competition. You know, I'm there to do that qualification routine and that finals routine, and I think that's why it was almost hard to fathom why people were just like crazy about the Olympics, because to me, in my gymnastics bubble, it was just another competition. But then of course you do step outside of that gymnastics bubble every now and then and see the actual gravity of the Olympics, what positive impacts it has on the entire world, actually bringing entire nations together, seeing, you know, like somebody from your own country winning a gold medal. It's incredible. It makes you feel very proud. So when you step outside of gymnastics, I think that's what you see. But within that gymnastics bubble, you treat it like any other competition, and it's not actually that big.
Yeah, well, it's whether it's Olympic Games or a control comp at home, it's a pommel horse and a routine. So that should never change, and the mindset of that shouldn't change. And once it does, it can be a bit of a downfall, I think, because maybe too much pressure can be applied, or too much thinking can be applied if it's a different competition, or you could be too relaxed or whatever. So it should just be respect for the sport. And plus, there is an aspect of, you know, you never know when your last time is good. You're going to compete.
Yeah.
You know, there's always a last time for everything, so you should be able to respect each competition the same, and enjoy it as much as you can, because if you're not enjoying it, then there's not much point in it. It shouldn't be something that it feels forced or that you're terrified of. If you're not enjoying it, then there's an issue there. You need to be able to enjoy what you do.
I mean, that's exactly what you said to me after qualifications, is take it all in, enjoy it. You're at the Olympic Games. I think this is when I was like gurning because I'd just done a routine at the Olympic Games. I became an Olympic finalist with that score that I put out, and you were just tapping me on the shoulder saying, look around you, look at the Olympic rings. You know, there wasn't any crowd to look at, obviously, but it was just one of those times where you were just saying to me, take it all in, make the most of it.
It's true, being present in that moment. It's because it can go quickly, you know. And I think looking back now, is perhaps you could say I'm a bit more mature than I was when I was competing, as we all do as we grow older. But I don't think I appreciated enough what I was doing at the time.
Yeah.
By no standard was I well, a good gymnast. I wasn't pushing what you are, but I was there representing my country, and I just don't think I appreciated it enough. I was too stressy. I was too caught up in my own mind, and that was always my downfall.
Gotcha.
So it's important just to take that in, which is why I said that at the time, because it could have been very easy for you after just to wrap it up and be like, okay, let's get my bag together and into the warm up hall, and it's done. And you don't know what happened. You could have had food poisoning and then not competed at all in the final, and then you wouldn't have taken that moment in. So it was important that you did.
Well, what does Andy Bernard from The Office say? I wish we could appreciate the good times while we're in the good times.
Andy has many good statements.
It was a touching one.
Nard dog.
One. Yeah, big nard dog. Gymnastics asks on Twitter, if you could choose 7 gymnasts to be in a pommel horse final with, who would they be? Now, I did see this one. I thought it was a good question, but my immediate thought was, are we doing retired gymnasts too, or current?
Well, that's why I'm taking it.
Okay, yeah, we'll take it. We'll take it. Retired gymnasts.
Let me read it. If you could take any, did they say any?
Yeah, choose 7 gymnasts to be in a pommel horse final with.
Yeah. Well, go ahead.
Xiao Qin.
Yeah, definitely.
Zhang Hang Tao.
100%.
So two of the best, 2 Chinese. Lewis Smith.
Yep.
I was in a pommel horse final with him once.
British, yeah. 2016.
Yeah, it was. The only time I was in a pommel horse final with him. Well, at least I was it. At least I can say I was.
You let him beat you.
I was 15, man. Lewis. Christian Berkey, never got in the pommel horse final with him.
Yep. That's for sure.
Now I'm kind of on the verge of just like people I know almost. Nah, there's Magyar, Uzica.
Yeah, I'd say Marius Uzica. Yeah, he's one for sure. Daniel Keatons.
Oh, Keatons, yeah. That's 7 already. No, maybe.
Louis, Dan, Xiao, Quinn, Zhang Hang Tao.
I threw Magyar in there.
Magyar's an interesting one. I mean, obviously he's a legend. You can't think too much of.
He presented me my my European gold medal, you know.
In Bern?
No.
Glasgow?
Yeah, Glasgow. Yeah.
Yes. Christian Berkey, yeah, you gotta have him in.
Yeah.
Your Japanese guy that retired recently.
Oh Yamato.
Yamato.
Yeah.
Hey, why did you retire? Someone get this out to him.
I know.
I was so excited when I started seeing his stuff. Like, that was absolutely phenomenal gymnastics. Like, it was beautiful pommel work. I was so excited to have him on the international circuit, and then he retired.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that when Japanese gymnasts say they retired, it's from like international competition and they continue training type thing.
Hopefully.
So maybe we'll get like a training camp in with him, learn all the secrets,
Yeah.
and then take him into the
The
international
circle
scene.
shape's phenomenal.
Yeah,
That would be a class final.
Yeah, no, that would be pretty incredible. So yeah, I think that, yeah, Yamato,
Have you been in a pommel final with Wang Hao yet?
Wang Hao. Wang Hao?
Yeah, from China.
What? No, is Wang Hao not the all-rounder?
No, he's the pommel worker.
Wang Hao?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Wang Hao.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like his work.
Yeah, he beat me.
I think he's a...
No, he didn't. I beat him.
Aha! Yeah, I like his work.
Yeah, it's nice.
Oh yeah, the China World
Cup, yeah.
That's right. Jeeps, that was a pretty insane experience as well. The Chinese World Cup, that was class.
Like, I'm gonna say it. He threw his medal in the bin, you know?
We did witness that.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Got our medals presented to us. Zhu Jinyang came first, I came second. It was my first competition back from shoulder surgery, so that's why I came second, you know. And then Wang Hao
You
came
let a
third.
P-bar specialist beat you.
Yeah, he's good. He's
He
one
is
of the
pretty
best
damn good
gymnasts.
at
But Wang Hao came third, and then when we were walking back from the media zone, he just took his medal off him, put it in the bin. I was like,
Well,
oh my goodness.
maybe he was disappointed.
Yeah.
We also just remark for a second, Zhu doing triple Russian at the World's Final 2019.
That's an honourable mention right there.
After like 2 days work or something.
Yeah.
Like, that was insane.
Yeah, so we saw Zhu in the training hall. China didn't have the best World Championships. They didn't get many people in the finals. Team came second. For China, they didn't do great. So I think they were going broke. So we saw Zhu in the training hall training triple Russian on one handle, which is the most difficult skill on pommel horse. I've never seen him do it before. He kept falling, kept getting back up, kept falling. This is in the training hall. And then didn't see him do one successful one. Jumps up on the pommel final, does it straight away.
First skill or
first
second skill or something?
It was first skill. Does it absolutely perfectly. I was like, oh my goodness, I'm gonna lose my bronze medal.
Yeah, that was exactly my thoughts. I was like, oh my god, he's just absolutely smashed that routine, and you were in bronze position at that time.
I know.
And it's just, he does beautiful pommel work, so I wasn't sure on his start value because it looked to me like it was a new routine, and I was like, oh god, don't push me inside of bronze, please.
I was like, I'm not even gonna get a medal here. Oh god. But yeah, so I think he didn't mess anything up. The spindles are really deductible just on people's routines. So as soon as he done like 2 spindles, I was like, okay, should be okay. Amy B asked, what do you think of the food?
Yeah, I replied, that's a loaded question. It's improving.
Yeah, it is. I think they said it would be improving. So this is only a second day here. So.
We've been told we're going to get hot meals, which would be a great improvement.
Yeah, and that shows you the standard that it's currently at. But anyway, we're not going to complain.
No, we're not complaining.
We're positive people. We're optimists. The glass is half full or something like that. What's a more satisfying accomplishment, the Kovac or the Iron Cross? Well, I would say the Kovac.
That's a really good question. I can remember the first time I did cross. I was 14 or 15 at the time, and it felt amazing. I felt like that's when I turned into a man.
Right,
mentally. For that one session.
Thanks for rubbing it in. I've never done... Well, no, I've done that one where you go down here, get into a false grip, and go out like that.
Gosh.
My arms were bent. It would count in a competition.
Would it though?
Yeah,
probably not.
it would. And I was like 13 at the time, and I went... and yeah, it felt pretty good, but
Kovac is amazing feeling catching that.
The first time, man. The first time's always like a reached one too. Like you just caught it by chance.
I would say Kovac.
Yeah, I'd say so too. Nothing. Yeah, even cross, like your shoulders are sore and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's not overly.
When you catch a Kovac, it's just so nice when you swing back around that bar.
I remember Keaton's used to catch every now and again on the top of his handguard, so he wouldn't actually be on the bar. The top of his handguard would be there, and he would do a giant afterwards. And sometimes you wouldn't even notice because it happened so quickly.
Switches it back
and then
around.
afterwards, he'd be like, "Here, I didn't actually catch that." And you're like,
"Madness.
That's insane."
Yeah, I don't know. Gymnasts think so quick on their feet or on their hands. Gymnastics has also asked thoughts on the upcoming code changes.
So I've only really read. I didn't want to read too much into it before all these competitions are done. This will be the last of this quad, so then I'll get my head stuck into it. I know bits and bobs, but it doesn't seem to be a huge amount really. I don't think it's really going to change our plans anyway.
No.
I think the upgrades will pretty much remain the same. We just need to hone down what they're going to be.
Yeah, I mean, there's some cool upgrades. Everybody's asking me at these Worlds about the Son and Bazugo flop sequence entries.
Oh, yeah.
And I really like them. I do, and people are obviously trying to get in, saying like, "Oh, are you working on them? What are you doing here? What are you going to do for next code?" Everyone's obsessed with start values of the routines. But yeah, I mean, you can't really focus on it too much with Worlds coming up now. Obviously after Worlds we've got all the time in the world. Our next competition is in March.
Yeah, there's the kind of trilogy of World Cups that are normally in March.
Mm-hmm.
Doha, Baku and Copas maybe.
Yeah.
So we'll look at some of them to do the new routines. But yeah, I mean, some of the things to remark on could be Flair, Magyar, Shivado are in the same box now, so they're not higher difficulty than normal.
Yeah, they're the same as normal Magyar Shivado.
Yeah, which I think is a good thing.
Yeah.
Any crazy new skills?
No, no crazy new skills. I mean, the McLenigan's coming soon.
Yeah, maybe. I think backshear handstand maybe is being downgraded, and the Ibusnari down to scissor is gone.
It's gone. I think it's gone completely. Which, yeah, I agree with most of the things, to be honest. Backshear handstand don't really get, but yeah, whatever. Yeah, I mean, I think we're fired through all of the Twitter questions there. We'll keep it short and sweet, sure. We'll do a couple more episodes of this.
Yeah.
And yeah, I hope everybody has enjoyed it. I hope you stick around for another episode of this and check out any vlogs that I upload in the future. I haven't been doing much videoing of training and stuff because I've just been in the zone. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this little podcast in Carson's Corner.
There we go.
Oh, damn it.
Brought to you by Japanese mineral water.
Alright, peace out.